Good evening. It is Friday the 13th at that. And what month is this? Oh, March. It is March 13th, Friday the 13th. God, I am losing it sometimes, I think. Anyway, it's time to get to work. It is a Friday night, and we are currently headed up towards Folsom right now to pick someone up. This is generally a little bit longer than I would like to drive to go pick someone up, but I was heading up that way anyway, and I got this ride, and it's a 6-mile ride to go drop them off. It's like $9 or something like that, so that's going to work out. Anyway, I am back at it. I was off for a week, came back this week. Speaking of which, it's been a pretty slow week for me. I will get you caught up here later in the evening. I'll catch you up on what I've done so far, but it's been pretty slow. I have not driven very many mornings. I was trying to drive some evenings this week because there's been a lot of activity downtown with Kings games and some other stuff going on. So I figured I would come out and see what the nights were like, and they were hella slow. And then on top of that, I didn't really get a lot of reservation rides to boot on that. So I think the mornings would have probably been just as slow for some reason. So I don't know what's going on. And the other day, man, I felt like I was in the doghouse with Uber. Like was getting squat from them. And Lyft was the one kicking out rides for me, which was really surprising. But anyway, we are headed up to Folsom right now, and we're gonna go pick up Zay and drop them off, or him or her off, and then start this night off right. But before we go any further, and since I'm at a red light right now, we can do this. Ah, there we go. So good. If you haven't been following the news, and if you have, you know that we are currently at war with Iran, and with that has come a very, very significant spike in gas prices. So we're going to talk a little bit about kind of just a little bit reason why I got an EV in 2023, and right now, what you as a driver, if you're driving a nice vehicle, what this means. I mean, this impact. I mean, obviously, if you're a driver, you know what it means. It means you have, all of a sudden, your costs have gone up 17 to 20% in the last week, which is significant cost increase. And realistically, how do you deal with that? And kind of talk about the advantages of driving an EV in this situation and overall. So we're going to talk a little bit about that later on, and then whatever else happens and all that other good stuff. So right now, let's go get Zay and get this night started, and then I'll be back with updates throughout the evening as we go. Again, I'm starting, what time is it? It's like 9, it's 8:45. Very kind of an atypical start for me. Usually I start at midnight, but I'm going to start at 8:45. Probably drive until like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and then call up. So we're going to try to get in a solid 6 hours of driving in tonight, see what we can do. Goal-wise, $200. We'll put $200 on the board. That's our goal for tonight. I need it. Again, it's been a slow week. Kind of need to get caught up on my goals for the week, so we're going to need a solid night. So hopefully we can get this done. And yeah, so that's the plan for tonight. So let me head up the road here. I'll be back, and we'll do updates and talk about all kinds of other stuff. All right, I'll be back. Alrighty, quick update. It's been a little slow. I'm not gonna lie. And why would I? It's been slow. 3 rides with Lyft. I think I've maybe done 4 or 5 with Uber right now. Let's see where we are. 4. So 7 total rides, $63. We'll update the total right up here. I think the goal is going to be a stretch. I think it's going to be a long shot. I don't know. We'll see what happens here, because we're kind of getting into the good time of night in Folsom, and I'm heading back there right now. I'm in El Dorado Hills. I took this ride that came up here. I knew it was a stretch to come up here. It's like one of those. So I want to go up there because I know I'm not going to get a ride that comes back. I'm going to have to deadhead it back. But it was a really good ride from El Dorado Hills Town Center out to here. comfort ride was like $10 and some bucks. I can show you. There you go, $12.56. That was a good ride for like 3.5 miles. So hard to pass that one up. But otherwise, it's been rather slow, without a question. It's been a little slow, and I don't know what's going on. Matter of fact, I got one reservation request offer tonight. It was up for 11 o'clock tonight, and as soon as it popped on the screen, it went away, which I found really weird that it did that. So obviously someone else got it, but I've gotten like very few reservation offers this week. I don't know what's going on. I'm like in the doghouse with Uber or something. Anyway, let's talk gas prices. Obviously if you drive a gas vehicle wherever you are in the country, your cost just went up by 17 or 20%, depending on what day of the week it is. And that's a huge shock to your strategy. Because you got to be really mindful about what you're doing now. If your costs just went up, we'll just say 20%, and how you navigate around with your strategy. Obviously, profitable rides, high dollar for low miles is where you're going to want to be, so you're not burning a bunch of gas doing stuff and doing deadheads like I'm doing right now. And so one of the reasons why I got an EV back in 2023 was because of times like this, when gas prices would go up and down, whipsaw around, especially here in California. It would be $4 one week, and all of a sudden it's $4.75 the next, or higher, because there's a holiday coming up, and the gas companies know that, so people are going to drive, so the prices go up. Or the transition from winter to summer, summer to winter. There was always some excuse as to why gas prices would like skyrocket up out of nowhere. And there's taxes here too that are higher in California on gas than anywhere else that funds the work on the roads. And being someone from Caltrans, that's where we get our money to do road work. So if you're a driver and all of a sudden your costs just increased by 20%, you need to be looking at your strategy and how you're going to either absorb that, which I think is very difficult, or combat it to make it so you're still profitable. And that means looking at the rides, looking at the ride quality, making sure that whatever your minimum ride was dollar per mile before, it goes up by 20%, because now all of a sudden you need that extra 20%. So right now there's a lot of talk around drivers quitting, or drivers going to quit because gas prices went up. No, some may. I doubt most will. I think that drivers are going to stick it out. What I will say is drivers are going to get burnt out, or they're going to see a lot less money in their pocket because they're not paying attention to their strategy and how you adjust it in these circumstances when your costs go up. It's one of the things I talk about the most here is driver strategy, and making sure that you're aware of what's going on and how you modify, tweak it, always look at it to make sure that you're always making a profit on every single ride. Levi put a video out this week talking about, would you take this ride over this ride, and how you make money versus dollar per mile versus dollar per hour. He's a dollar per hour person. I am a dollar per mile. I think time, although important, not as important as dollar per mile, because your car, vehicle, whatever it is, has a finite lifespan. It is defined by time, and that time is so many miles that you can put on the car before things start falling apart and it becomes no longer a viable option to do this. There is a time limit, and that time limit is generally based on miles. It's not based on time, because you could have a 6-year-old vehicle and have 10,000 miles on it. You can have a 6-year-old vehicle that has 200,000 miles on it, or 300,000 miles on it. And that there's a big difference between those two vehicles and on whether or not they're still viable to make money. I argue, and I will always argue, that dollar per mile is the way to judge your profitability, not dollar per hour. You can make $25 per hour and have a $25 ride that goes 10 miles, but you're not making any money on that because of the dollar per mile cost to do that ride. So the point that I'm trying to make here is, right now your cost just went up 20%. What are you going to do to combat that? What are you going to do to offset that increase? And I think the biggest thing that you can do is you need to raise your dollar per mile minimum, and you need to really look at maximizing that dollar per mile, making money with the fewest miles possible to preserve what you're spending in gas, and to try to stretch that out. Does that mean that maybe you take shorter rides, to do that? Drive less miles more frequently, do more turnover rides? Possibly, because I think that you're going to burn more fuel doing longer rides, the 15, 20, 30 mile rides. Those things are going to burn way more fuel, take a lot of time, and more than likely the dollar per mile in those is very, very low, because that's the way Uber and Lyft have it structured. The longer you go, the less dollar per mile you're going to get on those rides. So leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Are you a dollar per mile or a dollar per hour driver? And what are you doing if you're driving an ICE vehicle right now to combat this 20% increase that you're seeing in gas prices? Because I'm sure it's pretty much across the board within the country, not just here in California, that gas prices have shot up. I mean, that's what the news media is saying. So I know it's across the board. But what are you doing? How are you adjusting what you're doing with this out of nowhere increase that just hit everyone? Let me know down below. Appreciate it. In the meantime, heading back into downtown Folsom, or Old Town Folsom, get myself set up. It's getting to that time of night where people are going to start leaving the bars and start going home. And the goal is to bang those out, get some 5 mile or less rides out of there so I can turn them over real quick, get people home, get right back into Old Folsom and just turn and burn on that until after, a little after 2. So that's the plan right now. So I will be back with more updates here in a little bit, and we'll see you then. All right, be back. Alrighty, that's a wrap. Cutting it short. It's getting a bunch of shitty rides, going where I don't want to go, like Yuba City and Lincoln and Forest Hill and all over the place, but not where I want to be, which was in Folsom. Just wanted to stay in Folsom and do rides there, but no, not getting anything. So I took a ride that came to Fair Oaks kind of on the way home, and that's it. I'm done. I'm gonna call it. Definitely came up short on the goal. Just, again, a pretty slow night. I don't know what's going on. I was off, not this week, but the week before I was gone. And, I think like the apps forget about you. And then it takes a while for them to get back to having you back online and knowing what you want to do. Because this has been a really shitty week. Speaking of which, we'll look at what my week looked like. So let's see. So there's tonight, 73.57 and 21.32. So I'll update the total right here. Obviously way short on the goal. Not a great night. It's been a while since I've had a shitty night like this. There's my week. Oh, what's that? Grubhub. No. 24 minutes. No, we're not doing that. 278.40. There you go. Now let's look at Lyft on the week. 120.65. Yeah, it's so far been a shitty week. I am driving tomorrow night. these numbers will be up a little bit more. I may do a video tomorrow night. We'll see what happens. But anyway, the week so far been pretty shit. Just not good. I've been really focused on trying to do high dollar per mile, low mile drives, and really focus in on that. But it's been a rough week for it. And again, I've done minimal reservation rides this week. It's been pretty slow. So anyway, that's the way it goes. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you're doing to help offset or absorb this 20% increase if you're driving a gas vehicle. What you're doing to fix that, and leave a comment down below if you have any questions about driver strategy or anything like that. But in the meantime, thanks to all the new subscribers. Really appreciate it. Appreciate all the feedback. And please hit that like and subscribe button if you're not. We're kind of inching our way towards 1,000. I'd really like to get to 1,000 if that's possible. So if you can please do me a favor. If you're not subscribed and you watch this videos routinely, please hit the subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. And with that, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. All right, thanks.